Yeah. It's weird. Technology is weird, but I think I got it under control now. All right. How are you? I'm so glad to have you on my channel. I'm so happy to be able to interview you. And so how have you been? I'd like you to introduce yourself to my followers, what you do, your organization, and basically just the brief introduction as to who you are and what you do.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for having me. My name is, can I speak Swahili as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Mi naitwa Victor Muhagachi. I'm based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania at the moment. I'm of the founders from CHATAFISHA. And I'm excited to be in the space and talk about what we do and and some great ideas that can happen around the city and the world.
So, can you explain briefly what CHATAFISHA does?
CHATAFISHA, first of all, the name comes from two Swahili words, ambao chata kuacha alama and safisha, meaning cleaning. So what we're trying to do is create an initiative around community regeneration. Tupo katika mazingira in terms of climate technology, but we collect data on offset. And what we want to do in the future, kwa hii data tunaokusanya, is use this data to inform decisions and now use blockchain technology to incentivize people on ground who do any activity around climate regeneration. So CHATAFISHA, at its core, we're trying to build society by using technology and innovation. We're focusing on nature because we as Africans, we're from nature. We're people around mazingira yetu bado yanajengeka. So we want to leverage technology to build a future that we want to see, and not metropolitan cities that regularly happen. So that's kind of like the entry point and also the grander vision that we have and what we want to put forward,
Explain more on regeneration and like what CHATAFISHA does with the regeneration in society.
That's a mission that we've been trying to do for the past like 2 years, I would say, like fully. Regeneration for us, the way we think about it is having a positive sum value for everything we take out of the environment, right? So tunachojaribu kufanya, for example, how can we look at waste from a different perspective? So predominantly kwa kuanzia CHATAFISHA, what we're doing at the moment, we're collecting data on plastic waste. And we want to show regeneration through this type of waste, okay? So kwenye plastiki, what we found out, we can reuse it, and as many people are doing it, but we want to kind of create a supply chain source of sourcing plastic waste as raw material and then use it to build. So this is where the regeneration aspect comes in. So for example, we wanna be the main suppliers wa kusanya plastiki labda tani 50 au 10 tunazishred and then tunazibadilisha kuwa malighafi that we can use to build again kama matofali, which are building blocks, spare parts for tuk-tuks. So this is the regeneration cycle that we can unlock with waste. And you can do this with so many other waste, like biodegradable waste. You can do it even with soil degradation places where you can now have different approach to kind of conserve that soil into having more nitrogen in the space. So this is regeneration from building material, but also from preserving nature, right? So at CHATAFISHA, we want to how can we use technology to kind of like unlock all these things? So that's the regeneration aspect, kuongeza thamani kwenye vitu ambavyo tumevitoa kwenye mazingira au vipo ambavyo kwenye mazingira kama uchafu.
So you're basically contributing to circular economy.
100%.
So how far do you think your impact goes in the circular economy of Tanzania? Do we have a significant scale of a circular economy?
At the moment, I don't think we do because we lack the infrastructure to do it. But I think as a community, naturally, we are conservative people in terms of like we don't have we naturally repurpose things because of the lack of things around us. So, but we have this perception now. This is we have this perception of looking at things as finite because of consumerism. So, but and the way we use things naturally is approached as underdevelopment, but actually it's the whole circular economy, like changing the perception around Tanzania in terms of looking at our circularity or the way we use resources from an underdevelopment perspective to more to like a purposeful, meaningful use of things. Take away the consumerism aspect more to the regenerative cycle of things. Can you hear me? I think you froze.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so Tanzania, I think we can achieve this if we change the perception of value from consumers more to users and regenerators. And at the moment bado, because miundombinu bado haijajengeka ya kutuwezesha kufanya vitu kama hivi na kuongeza thamani kwenye uchafu na nini. So we're on that path, but I think we need more people beyond just doing things to talk about it and create that conscious change of like, how do we perceive our development differently by using even waste and using our environment to build and not copy and paste what the rest of the world is doing.
Okay. So can you highlight on CHATAFISHA's most significant or most impactful project?
I'll say we do this initiative in Rangi Chanya. Where the main idea around Rangi Chanya is the way for us to engage with the community. I would say, so we partner with like local governments. We did it in Bezi, we do an event there, and we try to build like a particular area that's owned by public, like a public space. So we did one in Dumbwi. The response was very good in terms of like people showed up, but the follow-up is still very slow because of like resources again. But yeah, I would say we got engaged with the students, we got engaged na serikali ya mtaa pale na owner studio, so we showed, hey, we took this area, ilikuwa ni ukuta na kiwanja cha mpira, tukafanya tournament, tukafuta huko, tukajenga, we built a mural in that area, and then we augmented that mural, so the mural comes to life. If you use your phone, the images will come to life and tell a story about this place. So all this we went.
That's amazing.
Thank you. So we went around and asked the guys questions like, what do they like about the space? What do they want to see around the environment? And then the mural kind of represents that. And we even sourced the artists from the area. So everything was done by people there. So the whole idea is to, how can we get people to care about this, but in a way that's not activism, but more like, hey, this could be a building opportunity. Can you get excited about it and then participate? And, we have other problems. People are slow to that, but when we create activities around it, I think that was the most powerful thing for us. We made an activity, people showed up, we had a good time, we engaged, we talked about what we were trying to do, and then made that relationship. That now we have a center that we collect plastic in that area as well. So I would say that's one of the most impactful so far, and what I would love to keep us see. We do more stuff like that, that community center, and we're building on the community, not just doing events there. So yeah, that's something that I would say I'm proud of so far. Yeah. And also maybe the university, we also work with the university, so we got to open some models for the students there. We did like 2 workshops and a pilot, so that was cool. A lot of students came. I didn't think they would come, so that showed me like, okay, people want to be part of something, they want to be a part of a change, but they just needs to be aligned and shown how they can participate. So
it's really nice how especially startups that are more based into more based on environmental advocacy and combating climate change. What they do is they try to integrate these changes with whatever is happening in today's life. So that brings me on your collaboration with Refi. So what was your collaboration about?
Refi it's a popular term in the Web3 space, regenerative finance. So we've been building on Web3 and blockchain since we started. So if you're familiar with that terminology, so we're the first ones to kind of set up a local node, like a regenerative finance node. The whole concept around Refi is like, how can we use finance in a way that's regenerative, that kind of like invests in like activities that kind of bring the positive sum, but in a way that continues to bring back, not uses it to depletion, the way our current system is. So the Refi DAO movement is a worldwide movement that happens, and we, my friend David and this other guy from I think from Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, he was in Dar es Salaam, Kigamboni. He was doing I think CMOS, that's the word. They were planting trees around the area. And then so we kind of had a conversation with them, and then they were happy enough to kind of like, because you need other people to kind of form a node. So we came together and formed this regenerative node. That's where the Refi collaboration started from. So it came up from an idea of like, can we have a local node that is dedicated to solving environmental problems, social problems in Tanzania, and eventually even Kenya, East Africa. So the Refi movement was happening in like Lagos, happening in South Africa, in Mexico, and other big cities, but there was none in Africa. So that urgency was like, we're in the space, we have CHATAFISHA, let's do a refi node and then use this node as a way to bring other players, other contributors, because the idea beyond refi is to set up a movement that caters to people who are doing initiatives around climate tech or climate regeneration. So that becomes like a hub where we can get resources, get partner, bring more people, and eventually, like you see, companies have CSR departments. What if we tap into that? We cannot tap them directly with CHATAFISHA, but if they can be part of a node, it's easy for them to allocate resources. So the collaboration came from this idea of like, how can we get more players and set up something that's beyond just a company. It's more like a community driven, but with intentionality to do something positive.
You mentioned regenerative finance. Can you regenerative finance in our viewers and the cryptocurrency and digital currencies? I don't think many people are still very they haven't familiarized with that concept. So could you elaborate on what can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think a lot of people are familiar with like blockchain and cryptocurrency in terms of like the money part of side of things, but it's a whole technology that a lot of other things, a plethora of things is happening there. People are building in that space. So essentially, the technology behind cryptocurrency is blockchain, which is a ledger where think of it as a database. You can store information, you can build application on top of it, and it acts as a storage of value. So, excuse me, what we're trying to tap into by building over there is using this technology as a stack, as a kama msingi wa kujengea vitu, and the opportunity there is ownership. So what cryptography does, it allows like me and you could have accounts there and operate things, keep our information there in a secure way and transparent, and allow us to unlock other features that we would normally will not be able to unlock katika regular systems that we have, which are centralized, like entity owned or corporate owned, which is necessarily not bad, but it's limited to only the functionality of that institution. So what blockchain and regeneration finance, the reason we're building on blockchain is because of the capabilities this technology has, which is allow people to have ownership in sense of like by you having a wallet, you can get paid directly, no like restriction. You can have a stake in something. You can make decisions openly and transparently. So it allows to have like people like big groups can operate easily because they have one place they can do all their like activities and meet up and do this. So if there's something that's going to happen in future, more and more of that we'll see, especially with the changes that are happening around the world. But essentially, the way easy way to understand it, it's like it's a large database that you can build on top of, like a ledger that you can build on top of, not only from currencies but also to like software and a lot of things around ownership and transparency, and also it's super fast and securely owned. So those are the benefits of building on blockchain.
So blockchain and especially Web3 goes very much hand in hand with the AI technology, doesn't it? So how would you say AI technology can help us combat climate change?
In my personal opinion, I don't think AI can help us combat climate by itself. I don't think technology by itself is, at least at the current stage of technology, is still very not advanced enough. It needs humans. I think people can solve problems themselves, and even when we use machines, that's our effort to solve problems. So I think we should. How are we trying to solve these problems, and then things like AI and blockchain become tools that we use to kind of spearhead that change in a faster way, in a more secure way, in a more way that actually accounts for equity for everybody, not just a few people who kind of take advantage of the system. So those are the things I see. So maybe we talk about what are the benefits of having something like AI. I see it becoming an operating system that has fairness, has accountability principles in it, and transparency, depending on like who owns it, right? So now the urgency should be, how do we like individuals and as a community and as people, as especially from a family point of view, going to all the way to corporate and an individual making decisions, that rooted nature or understanding of how do we now, kama mimi nyumbani kwangu na familia yangu, mazingira yangu, na tengenezaje from there going out, and then that was having that approach technology becomes the tool we use to change things. Until we can like reason those things, it will be really slow for us to see changes the way we want to see. And it's just we have to be okay with that. And then that will give us this urgency to start saying, okay, now we have advancement in technology, tuna advancement huku na huku, tunatumiaje sasa kuongeza mabadiliko haraka. So kwamba this advancement will not bring changes for us themselves. We need to have that urgency and have that intentionality on why we do things, and then also like the evenness of participation that allow everybody to participate, and the incentivification for participating, especially in Africa. So if AI can help us incentivize people to do things, we will see it changes faster, because Africans, we don't care about climate change because we have other problems. Not saying it's not a bigger problem, but we just need to allocate the perception of why it's important. Because once we make that connection, we will have the urgency, and the incentive will not only become financial, but also could be well-being. That's how I see technology helping.
Technology is an extremely important part of our everyday lives now. We can't go anywhere without our phones or like access to the internet. So this leads back to, I want to ask, how did you and your co-founders come up with the idea for your startup, for CHATAFISHA? How did you come up with this idea?
Actually, it started from art. So I'm an artist. All my co-founders, we're all artists. We used to make music and other mediums of art, cinematography, as well as drawing, like murals. So that's where it started. My friend Sima, he had this idea for like painting murals around the city, and then now he did one in Mwenge. He do a mural with La Liga, and got a couple artists together. It was about football and like just inspiring people to kind of like take ownership of exercising in their body. And then when we met up a few years later, it was more like, hey, we can do something with this, around like community engagement. So we started like, can we build public spaces? That's how it stemmed from. So we want to build public spaces and use resources and brands. With the murals we create heritage around the spaces, and we build them the way in the Chata. The word Chata comes from that. And then the Safisha part is like, whenever we put a mark, we have to clean. So we go somewhere, we change it visibly, mentally, and everything around that space. So we were like, okay, if we can leave a mark somewhere by cleaning it and showing people, hey, now this is a place you can engage and be part of it. That got us excited, and we started doing it, And then from that, we're like, okay, we have a waste problem. Because tunasafisha. What if we can use this waste now to build these spaces? That's why we started with plastic waste, because we found, ukipita mfano beach Mavi, Msasani, all the way to Mbezi, that it's riddled with so much plastic waste, unaccounted for. So if you tell me to go pick up a plastic on the beach, it does not excite me. And most Tanzanians, let's be honest, they don't do it because it's something we want to do. And even if you do it, the next week it's back again. So we're like, okay, if we create an industry around this and buy plastic at a premium, we can now source it as raw material and then use it to build. And not only build, we're leaving a mark, we're showing regeneration. That's where the cycle came in. So yeah, we're still in the process of this. We're building a software that we can, we already have it out. We can account for kila centers of plastiki zinazokusanya makopo, how much waste they've taken. And our idea is now start buying it at a premium. And then once we buy it, we can now use it to build these public spaces. Because public spaces are not owned by private individuals. They're owned by local governments. They're owned by me and you. They're owned by community. But they're always neglected. Sehemu za umma ni shule, serikali za mitaa, serikali parks na nini, which Tanzania, we don't have parks, we don't have all these things. And if we can use waste to build these spaces, we're not only doing real estate, we are actually building a future or a city that we want to be part of. And this can happen in mega cities, can happen in rural areas, can happen anywhere. We're creating jobs, we are formalizing industries, we're also building public spaces. So the idea came from like beautifying the city. Now we're creating an industry around the creation of like spaces in a way that's regenerative. I don't think it's an ambitious goal, but I think there's a lot of hurdles to cross. But I think when we get more people and people understanding the perception and the infrastructure is there, I can see participation happening like easily. People just need to know where to go, how to start.
So all these centers and these locations where you are coming in contact with and looking at the amount of plastics that's produced, do you collect data on like the amounts? Because do you know of Nipefagio? So they
Yeah.
organize beach cleanups and they collect the amount of plastic, and then they account for it in like a data collection, and they publish their data every time they do it. Is CHATAFISHA involved in data collection like that?
Yeah, yes. Actually, Nipefagio was some of the first NGOs we looked at and contacted when we started. I really love the initiative they do. So, but we're creating a portal that's going to be continuous. So we have a software I can share with you, so you can check it. But I'm on my phone. I'll share with you, and you can have a look at it. You can experiment with it. If I was on my laptop,
Okay.
I can even share my screen and show you how it works. But I don't know. But I feel like we're in the middle of a show. I do this every day. But yeah, so we have a software. It's called CHATAFISHA.app. So you can go in there, you can register a center if you have a plastic center. Alafu unaweza kusajili pickers wako, and then you can collect their daily offset. And now we're working on an admin portal, so anybody, any user can come in and see mtaani kwako kuna senta ngapi za plastiki, kuna pickers wangapi, wamekusanya kiasi gani, and then you can do it, you can see regularly. Mind you, this already happens. This is one thing people don't understand. Unapitaga mtaani, we see these guys carrying big chunks of plastic. They already do this. They just send it, they take it to centers, they sell it at a really, really low price because they don't set the standard for it. So we always look down at these guys because, you know, it's an informal industry. So we were like, okay, let's tap into that industry. They already source it. Now we want to formalize them to waweze kuwa na sehemu wanaweza waka account data zao, wakatoa risiti, wakauza kwa kiwango kikubwa. Sababu ukishakuwa na hizi data, you're seeing the transaction, you're seeing the report. Now we can formalize this industry, say, hey, a kilogram is now 300 shillings. If we account for it and we get data for it, we can move it to 500, even 1,000 per kilogram. You've changed the lives of these guys. You can now, why are we buying at a higher price? Because we're going to use it to build. It's going to be used as raw material. So the data portal we're collecting is informed data, but data that we can even use to kind of like unlock other aspects like carbon credits, pre-financing models for these guys, you know, because these speakers are really underpaid, man. They're really, and now this is the power of data, the data that can hold people accountable. So another thing they do, they sort out this waste, so we can know which brand has more waste, which players need to come in and now formalize all these aspects of it. So there's some plastic that don't get picked up because of the color. So imagine having all this information in a clear way. We can now say CRDB, hey, instead of you guys doing a marathon, what if you this time around mtoe kiasi fulani tununue plastiki, but you don't have to do it. Go to our marketplace and buy from centers that you see around the area. So we'll go to a version where we can even see reporting mechanism, DMRV, where we can see climatic changes in each area. So that's kind of the data we don't want to just collect data. We want to use this data to get informed decision and create a portal where it's always going. It's not just one off. It's just one of the things we're doing. We can even accommodate something like Nipefagio, where they want to do an initiative, so they can put their initiative there, their monitoring plan, how they're gonna offset plastic. Kama wanafanya beach cleanup, wanaweza identify location gani, kwa muda gani, even say how much they want to do the cleanup and start getting paid by milestones. You know what I mean? So tukisafisha hapa mpaka hapa unahitaji kiasi hiki, so you can have other players coming in and invest in this initiative in incremental stages, not just one off. Because one of the problems we found with doing research is a lot of this initiative, they just get money to do cleanups and then it's gone. And then you come back, the same area you're cleaning, bro. What's going on? It's not getting cleaned, or so maybe the problem is not the picking, the problem is the source of waste. Where is it coming from? So with data like this, we can know, okay, what if we have like getting a drone is so cheap. Take a picture of it. DMRV monitoring, IoT. I'm getting a bit passionate, but you see the point of what we can do with data.
I think what you're doing, what CHATAFISHA is doing, especially in a very climate vulnerable time in our era, data with technology is extremely important to make informed decisions. And I know, and I can see that CHATAFISHA has a long journey ahead, as do we, our channel. And hopefully we all can come together, join our hands, and spread awareness on what we youths are doing in the name of climate change, combating climate change and creating climate resilient technologies. So thank you so much, Victor, for allowing me to interview you. And I really all the best for CHATAFISHA. Thank you so much once again.
Hey, thank you so much for having me as well. Appreciate you for what you're doing, and yeah, really excited to see where your channel will grow. I think this is bigger than climate changes. We're doing human change. So if you can change humans, we'll change lives, and that's where the climate is at, you know. So yeah, I appreciate you so much again for for hosting this, and yeah, hopefully follow we're very active on Twitter Spaces. We do spaces. If you want to come and join and share about what you do, we get people to come in from different spaces. I'm sure you can get another audience channel from there. So karibu sana. I would love to see you. You can host some with us together on Twitter as well, so you can get to meet some of the communities we're engaging with outside Tanzania and in Tanzania. So yeah, definitely. I'm excited if we can take it more outside the show and also do some community initiative as well.
Yes, that's amazing. I would love it so much. So once again, thank you so much, and I wish you an amazing afternoon and an amazing weekend. Thank you, Victor.
You as well. You have a good one. Bye bye.